Okay, today we're gonna talk about some in general training cost saving strategies and some specific college cost saving strategies. The vocab that we need to know is retirement account. If I talk about retirement account, a retirement account is like a bank account. It's an account you put money in, but that money in that account can be invested in things. And that account has the best income tax rules of any type of account you can have. If it's called a retirement account, it is excellent for taxes. Now, a quick note. These are all just possibilities. Everyone's situation is different, and not all techniques will work for all people, guaranteed. Nor will they be techniques that everyone would want to use. They are just some of the strongest cost-saving strategies that somebody has in the next few years. And another note, the age 18 through 25 is often one of the best times to be able to save money, but it is also the easiest time to spend the money or go into debt. See, everyone knows that 18 to 25 is difficult to make financial ends meet. They say that money is tight. They say it's easy to go into debt. Well, that's because nobody knows some serious cost-saving strategies. And if they do know it, they don't do it. So for those who don't want to do the average is earn very little money and spend it and go into debt when you're 18 to 25. For those of people who don't want to be average, it is one of the prime times to save an obscene amount of money and let that money grow for years and years and years. You just don't see it because a lot of people don't do it. Okay, so here are some general notes and possibilities for anybody, whether you're going to a college to train or going somewhere else to train or going out into the workforce. Number one, the most powerful tool that the young person has is to utilize living at home to minimize expenses. Now, this is a normal thing for many places around the world. And many places around the world do this because it's a financial necessity. Money isn't flowing and jobs aren't flowing as much as in the United States. So in the United States, the practice has gone away a little bit. And people don't really think that, oh, maybe I could live at home from 18 to 23, 24, or 25. Now, it's not because it doesn't make the money, it's because it's not needed to be average. But remember, average isn't excelling. So it's an opportunity that if you want to take advantage of, the amount of money that could be put away into a retirement account or a down payment on your first home is staggering. And from the years 18 to 23 or 24, some of us have very stable family situations in which the parental units will pay for most of the living expenses and don't really mind having the child around for those extra couple years. And so your biggest cost when you're living is literally food and shelter, etc. And so if you have a family that's number one sharing, or if you're even luckier, a family that's paying it for you, all those expenses can go boom, right into the huge chunk of money that sets you up for the rest of your life. Now, I will be honest, I utilized this for two years, I think, maybe 3 years as I was getting started. And it gave me a huge chunk of money that I could roll forward, and the money just grew and grew from there. Now, is there or was there some social stigma while I was doing this? Did other people look at me and say, ooh, look at you, you're living with your parents for 1 to 3 years? Well, I really don't know, because to be frank, I could not hear them over the huge pile of money I was raking in every single year. It's real tough to hear someone squawking from the low seats when you're trying to lift $15,000 a year to your bank account. Sorry, didn't care, didn't listen. So a general note is, if you're going through and you're going to be saving some money, what should you do? You should be investing that money into a tax-advantaged retirement account. You don't just save it. You could get an emergency fund, but you don't just put it in a regular bank account. And financial advisors, find a good one, will tell you what to do with your saved money. A general note as going for these cost-saving tips is this is one of those go big or go home. It might not be worth it just to save $1,000 a year for your trouble. We're really looking at ways where we can change the course of your financial life. We're looking to work hard enough these few years to save so much money, it literally changes the course of your financial life. So there'll be a time where you will have to move out of your family's house, or maybe the situation isn't one where you could stay. Well, then there is definitely living the first few years with roommates. Once again, if you can't get your living situation for free by family, then the next best thing is to spread the cost of that living situation. So basically, the longer you can live with more roommates, the lower your living costs, the more money you can just funnel into savings in your retirement accounts, building that huge chunk of money that's going to work, and you're going to use it to build even more, a huge money snowball. So when you do decide to purchase your own first home, you're not living with family, you're not living with roommates, it is entirely possible, if you're in certain areas of the country, that your first house can be what's called a duplex, a two-family house, or even a three-family house. Typically, these houses are cheaper than a one-family house, and you can live in one of the floors and rent out the other floors. Your renters will literally pay for your living, and it's like having a second job. This is a way to get in early to the real estate market, and if this is as far as you go in the real estate market, it will make you dozens of thousands of dollars, and as long as you stay on to it, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your career. So your first house being a duplex or a three-family. My first house was a single family. I didn't utilize this one until later, but I was able to move out and rent out my single family, so it has become a money-making rental, although it would have been stronger as if I had done the duplex or the three families. I did that later. Okay, so something I'm not too familiar about, so don't take this as a go out right now and do it. Take this as a look into it. Second jobs and side hustles help you get that income that you can put away into your money snowball. Army Reserves and National Guard seem to be part-time joinings with the military that you do while you have a regular job. And it fits into your regular job and doesn't really conflict because it is state and federal programs that they know how not to conflict. So there might be tons of money at a built-in second job. You can look into it. I think there's a lot of money there. Now, this can also work with a school combo. If you're planning on going to a college, you can check the comboing of colleging with Army Reserves, National Guard, and if you think you might want to go into the military for, 4 or 6 years, you might be able to do the full military school combo for even more money. So if you're even remotely possibly interested in sort of being in the same universe as the military, take a look and see if it can work with your job or your school. Okay, so now we're going to go into some very specific college saving strategies because the vast majority of people will be going into some college. So in general, here's the information you have to know in general before the specific strategies make a lot of sense. Now, colleges are usually, the degrees are called 2-year degrees and 4-year degrees. This should be 2 years also. So 2 years associates, 4 years bachelors, 6 years masters, and somewhere 8-year PhDs. So all the level of degrees. Well, it doesn't mean 4 years. They're just called a 4-year degree because that's what the average person does, and the average person graduates in debt, and it's set up for the average college person. If you can be above average, this is everything for life. If you can do what others don't in a positive direction, you can break the system. The system is set up so the average person succeeds in the U.S. So all you have to do is be above average and you succeed above averagely. So it is not a 4-year degree. It's actually made up of credits, a certain amount of credits, and usually a, quote, 4-year degree is made up of 120 credits, which roughly translates into around 40 classes, but it's literally credits. And those degrees are made up of required classes that you have to take and elective classes where you can choose whatever you want as long as it's a class and gives you some credits. So it's made up of credits with some have to take classes and some you want to take classes. It's not years. Also, these credits are transferable. Colleges rarely care where your electives are from. So your elective classes, they rarely care, and they can be transferred in from wherever you got them, as long as you got them from some college. And often, some or many of your required courses can be from other colleges too. It's really your core courses. Your core courses that your college wants from them. There's a specific number, and usually not too many, depending on the degree, that they really want taught by them. But that leaves a lot of other courses that you can get from other places. So, the general idea is this. Know what degree you want from where. Okay? Know your end goal. And if you don't know your end goal, you don't know your end degree, you don't know where you want to go eventually, then just go for your cheapest until you figure out your absolute cheapest. Live at home, get the courses online or from community until you darn well know what you want. As soon as you know the degree you want from where, then start finding the fastest and cheapest ways to fulfill the degree's course requirements. How do you know what your degree needs? You talk to your college. You talk to the admissions, you talk to the department, you talk to their college version of counseling center, guidance counselors. You find out exactly what you need to graduate with that degree. And then once you have an absolute list of classes, you figure out the fastest and cheapest way you can get those classes. That's where the money savings happens. So here's a couple ways to accomplish that. One is straight up transferring. Okay, certain colleges cost less. Courses from a community, and this is if you don't get scholarships, okay? Sometimes, like we said, the private schools or SUNY schools will give you money because they want you there. Maybe you're a sport person, maybe you've got something they want, maybe you're a great prospect intellectually. So you got to figure out where the least expensive courses are. Okay, but without scholarships, the least expensive courses are community college, followed by State University of New York colleges, followed by private institutions. So you could start out at a cheaper college, do the first year at community college, the first 2 years at community college, the first however. Now, I'm saying years, but what I really mean is courses. And then transfer to a SUNY school for a couple courses, or go to your end, wherever your end is. Chances are your end might be the expensive one. If so, get courses first from cheaper places and transfer. And if you do get these courses from a local SUNY or a local community college, you can also take that 1 year, 1.5 years probably, to live at home saving the money. And these first years of courses, the first 18 courses, they're all generic. And it doesn't necessarily matter which college you get it at as long as it gets transferred. And the quality of teachers is a gamble anyway. So you don't really know the quality at one school versus community college versus private school. You very rarely know the quality of teachers. So that might or might not factor into it. I guess you could complete the electives. You're pretty safe there. You probably don't want to complete your core courses, although you might. It's very personal which courses you want to try to complete first and transfer over. You've got to make a plan. And quite frankly, if you're not good enough to make a plan about this sort of thing, maybe you shouldn't be trying to graduate early and transferring credits. You know, it's maybe you can ask other people, have other people help you make the plan. It is going to be a little bit of a logic game, figuring out what you need to get when it's offered from your schools, programming it into timing for classes. It's a game, but if you're willing to figure out those rules of the game and go through it, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars you can save. Okay, the second way of saving a lot of money in your college experience is graduating early. Okay, we said at the beginning, it's not a 4-year degree. It's how fast and how completely you can get 120 credits. If you can do that in 3 years, congratulations, you've graduated in 3 years. That's what I did. I had so many high school college credits that I was able to get all the other credits in 3 years. And that means I graduated with a full degree and I did not spend the extra 4th year. That one saved me probably $20,000 in costs Plus, I was able to get out and work for a year, so I probably saved around $40,000, 1 year closer to retirement, because I graduated in 3 years instead of 4. So many of you hearing my voice right now already have some high school, college in the high school credits. Now figure those out. They're actually from local colleges. Some of them are Hudson Valley, if you're in the Capital District. Some of them are from SUNY. Okay, some of them are from community colleges. Some of them are from SUNY. You actually have credits right now. They will transfer into your eventual college, and they will go towards your 120 that you need to graduate. Okay. Now, the average person goes to school for 2 semesters and the summer is off. Well, remember what we said about average. Do the extra and you can get the extra. The summer can be college time. Now, you can work in the summer to get some money, which is pretty awesome. You can also take 2 online courses, maybe 3. Now, community college courses, okay, so you could literally go to the community college, sit in a class, okay. You could take online from whichever schools offer online. Just make sure they transfer to your real school. I think it is entirely possible to have a summer job, take 2 courses in the summer, and still hang out with your friends for a few hours. I think you can balance it that way. You do that for every summer, you've graduated in 3 years. And here's a little trick. What are you doing this summer? Oh, you were going to relax? You were going to do nothing? You were going to spend all summer hanging out with your friends? Or should you have a job to make some money, take 2 online courses that will help you towards your degree, and hang out with your friends for a few hours? Balance it. The summer before you even start your first year can get you credit. Another technique is, I call it super loading. I don't know what the technique is really called, but here's how it works. If you're in this is true. If you're full-time at a community college or a private school or a state University of New York, you're fully enrolled. It's called you're matriculated. For one price, the price of a semester, well, the price of a full year, you pay it by semesters. For the price of a full year, you can choose how many courses you take, and the price stays the same. The normal is 10 courses per year, 5 per semester. That's normal. It's set up to graduate you in 4 years. Now, the colleges would love it if people go in and take 8 classes per year, because then they got them for another year of their pay. But this is set up for people who can't really handle, school. So the colleges say, well, you can't handle school? Do less of it and pay us more. Don't do this. Whatever you do, do not do this. Average is average, but you can also take 1 extra class per year for free. You've paid to go to the school. You can take a bonus class for free per semester. And you could take, if you do it both semesters, you get 2 free bonus classes, 12 classes for the price of 10. And if you do that, you are accumulating credit towards your degree. You do a combination of some summer courses. Maybe you have 1 or 2 high school courses, and you pop in a super loading, maybe not your first year because you want to get used to college. But if you're good at school and you can own this stuff and you won't get sidetracked by friends or parties or crap like that, you could start at your first year, but maybe not. And then you super load a couple years. You're on your way for graduating in 3 years. Anybody with any kind of ambition should be able to graduate in 3.5 and save half a year. Anyone with even the smallest amount of ambition. A good amount of ambition you should be able to get out in 3 years. And I have zero clue, because I've never seen it or researched it, whether someone could graduate in 2 years or 2.5 years. I have no clue. I think it would take amazing planning, but if you can, why not? Now remember, graduating early not only saves the cost of room and board and tuition, but it also allows you to use that saved year to work and save unheard of amounts of money. So you're not only saving the cost of college, you're also going to be able to work. You could probably live at home that first year you work and save unbelievable amounts of money. And I probably should have put it there. It might also give you 1 year closer to retirement, so you could retire early, which should probably be a goal, because the average retirement, in my opinion, is too late. So, are there negatives Yeah, there's negatives, okay? People like the college experience. There's a lot of positives to the college experience. Usually, though, for every negative that you might miss out on by graduating early or transferring, there's usually a workaround for it. There's usually a workaround where you can negate the negative or make it a lot less, okay? Like for example, if you think you might be missing your friends that fourth year, well, by the fourth year, your friends are living off campus anyway. So why don't you just graduate early, live with them, and work in the town? You see what I'm saying? So that way, you're still saving the money, you're still with your friends, and you're making money working, okay? The only difference is they go to class and you go and make money, you see? So that's a workaround. I didn't say you had to leave your friends. I don't know if there's a workaround for sports. I really don't, okay? I get it. And that might be who you are. And then you're going to really have to weigh that last fourth year of varsity sport versus just the sheer amount of money. And you're going to have to do a financial calculation. Is it worth it? I don't know. I can't make that decision for you. Are the negatives really that bad compared to the positives? I don't know. I don't know. Is it worth it to me? Well, here's my personal opinion. Anyone I've ever seen in life, anyone age 23 on, anyone I've ever seen who's in financial distress, you know the one thing they don't say? They never say, well, at least I spent a lot of money and had a lot of fun during my college years. They literally don't say that when they're hurting financially. They might say that someday if they ever get out of that financial distress, if they ever get out of it. But that doesn't really help. The fun you had in that fourth year of college when you could have graduated early doesn't help if you don't have the money to enjoy it later on. Personal experience. I graduated in 3 years. It helped me a lot. A lot. I also think back, I did have some fun. Maybe not as much fun as other people, but I did have fun back in the day. And I'm speaking from right now. So right now, I'm looking at the memory of that fun. I would give it all up. It was really fun at the time, but it's just a memory now. I would love to give up all that fun that I thought I was having. I was, but I'd love to give up that memory and have $120 extra $1,000 right now, or retire 5 years earlier. The memory of fun, it's not as awesome as what I could be doing with extra years or extra money. I mean, we are not talking about $1,000 here and $1,000 there. We are talking, in many people's cases, serious money. You live with your family unit and work for 1 year, you can save $20,000. You graduate early, that could be a swing of $40,000. You live with your parents for 3 years after graduating early, swing at $40,000 the first time, $20,000 per year after that, you just saved $100,000. Multiply that because it's invested for the next 20 years, all of a sudden you're $45,000 with 200 grand, 250 extra grand. You're looking at retiring 5-7 years early. You buy a duplex, you've got your rental empire running, you got 3 different houses. I would trade a lot of my fun memories to set myself up early. I did it halfway, and I loved it. I traded memories for setting myself up. Traded my 4th year of college to set myself up. I went to a graduation. I didn't know anyone at that graduation. Set myself up. And I do it again when I look back at it. And I would do it even more if I knew other ways I could have done it. That's only personal experience. All right, folks, those are cost-saving strategies. Thanks for watching.